Whenever I want to do something really, really big and it scares me and it's edgy and it's in unknown territory for me, I always write up a plan. And I make sure that I get that plan cleared by somebody who knows me. Creating anything that you want to create in your life really requires two specific qualities, two specific traits that every single one of us has. You don't have to be special. You don't have to be born with some God-given talent. You just have to have these two things. And you also have to learn how to leverage these two things into the vision and the dream that you actually want to create. So, what are these two things? The first is self-awareness, and that's what so much of personal development is these days, raising our awareness of ourselves. And there's a really key ingredient in self-awareness. The first ingredient in that is honesty. We have to be honest with who we are. I've got to be able to look myself in the mirror, be honest about how I'm showing up, be honest where I'm effective, be honest where I'm ineffective, and really get a full analysis of who I am and how I'm being in my life. If I'm not willing to be honest about how I show up and the things that are working for me or not working for me, then I'm just going to continue to waste my time. I'm going to pretend that things are working out or pretend that there aren't problems or things that need to be addressed that are just going to not get taken care of. So honesty is a really important part of self-awareness. Another important part of self-awareness is perspective. Now, picture yourself standing around a huge building in New York City. Let's say the Empire State Building. It's like a full city block, maybe even more, I don't know. And if you're standing at the bottom of the Empire State Building and you're looking up and you look to your left and you look to your right, you can only see a portion of that building from where you're standing. Now, on the exact opposite side of the building is a whole nother perspective that you can't see, that you wouldn't be able to even fathom what it looks like because you can't lay your eyes on it. You'd have to depend on someone else's perspective, or you'd have to be willing to go walk around the block and see what it looks like from over there. So perspective is really important in self-awareness. And a lot of times we can only see what we can see. And a lot of times we don't know what we don't know. So you have to have people around yourself, people you trust, people who are willing to be honest and reflective with you to help you see the things that you can't see, that are also willing to be honest with you about the perspective they have of who you are. So honesty, perspective. Another really, really, really critical part of self-awareness is humility. Recognizing that every single one of us is human and every single one of us has areas that we can improve upon. It's not about looking at ourselves as less than. It's not about feeling inadequate or undeserving of love and all of those things. No, just the simple humility to say, these are the things that I'm not yet good at, or these are the things that I haven't figured out yet. I'm learning, I'm developing, I'm growing. Having the humility to just say, this is exactly where I am. And so much of that can be achieved through watching videos like this, through taking courses, reading books, listening to podcasts, just taking a look at yourself in the mirror, having the guidance and instruction from a mentor or a teacher. Self-awareness is really the first step. And if you've already gotten pretty far down that road, then I want to applaud you because in my opinion, that's further than most people ever make it. But there's still only half the equation that we cover with self-awareness. You can be aware of yourself up and down the stream all day long. But if you don't implement the second part of this formula, then nothing will ever change. So on one side, we have self-awareness. The other half to creating the life that you want and who you want to be and what you want to design is self-actuation. Now, this is the part that a lot of people have trouble with. This is the part that I think there's only about 5% of the population who is by nature self-driven, self-motivated. Somebody who gets an idea in their head and doesn't need anybody else to support them. They just get up, they go to the gym, they eat the food, they do their reps, they do the things they need to do to create the outcome that they want. That's the minority. That's the minority of people on this planet. Most of us, we're not self-starters by nature. We need some additional motivation, some additional encouragement, some additional accountability. And all of these pieces are relevant to the self-actuation process. Now, if you haven't realized it by now, if adulthood hasn't smacked you across the face yet, then let me just spare you the delayed climactic ending. Nobody is going to do your work for you. Nobody can do your work for you. So you have to be able to get your fire started and then maintain it to keep it lit. Now, it doesn't mean you have to do that in a vacuum by yourself, but you have to be the key ingredient. You have to be the one who stays connected to your vision of what you want and to be the one willing to go the extra mile and make it happen. So, some of those things that I mentioned, accountability. It's really important for those moments where you don't have the energy, you don't have the motivation, fear, doubt, all of that stuff is creeping in and convincing you not to take action. Accountability from other people who are not you helps you to stay motivated, to stay on task. Whenever I want to do something really, really big and it scares me and it's edgy and it's in unknown territory for me, I always write up a plan. And I make sure that I get that plan cleared by somebody who knows me, who can see the blind spots that I don't have. And then I ask that person, hey, will you check in with me around this plan on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis, on a yearly basis, depending on the duration of my plan, and ask them to hold me accountable to it. Because if I know that there's somebody else aware of what I'm committed to, and at some point down the line, I'm gonna have to sit in front of them, look at them in the eyes, and either say, yes, I have done the things I said I was gonna do, or no, I haven't, and now I'm wasting your time because I made an agreement and a commitment I would do these things. That level of accountability is enough to push me past all of the fear, all of the doubt, all the resistances I have to getting things done, because that resistance ain't going anywhere. Every single one of us has resistance to doing the things that we know is going to advance our vision forward. And yet, a lot of times we still fail to do it. So accountability is huge. It's imperative to be a self-actuating person. Staying motivated. So how do you stay motivated? I mean, we can draw motivation from witnessing and experiencing other people on their mission. I love to listen to motivational videos in the morning. I went through a snap about 2 weeks ago where I was just waking up and I was feeling like my fire was a little bit soggy. It was kind of starting to smolder. And I would do my morning exercises and I would listen to motivational content. I was listening to Kobe Bryant speeches. I was listening to the preacher, Eric Thomas, these compilation videos of really motivational speeches. And I was using the energy of other people to help me light my fire. I was taking my candle and lighting it from other people's candles. And that's okay. That's when we can really be there for each other. I can draw motivation from other people even when I'm not feeling it myself, just enough to get the fire going again and then get back on track. So in addition to accountability from other people, we can also draw motivation from other people. We can draw motivation from other people's experiences. And we can do this for each other. When I'm burning really hot and I see that one of my bros is low, I can hand my candle over to him and let him relight his flame from mine, and vice versa. This is why in community, it's so important to do these things together. So accountability, motivation, those are things that we can really lean on our community for, to self-actuate, to get action happening, to support a concept moving into an actual result. Now, here's the last one. And this is where it's all on us, because like I said before, nobody can do your work for you. The last part of self-actuation that is really, really important is to take digestible bites out of this big vision that you have. Chew it in little chunks. Try not to take on too much all at once, because that is an absolute guaranteed recipe for overwhelm to come through. It's an absolute recipe for overwhelm to come in and take all of your motivation and energy and just suck it right out of you. Because when we have too much going on, my plate is too full, when I don't think I can succeed, when I see failure just flashing in red lights at the other end of the tunnel, I'm not motivated anymore. I want to curl up in a ball. I want to feel bad for myself, and I want to shame myself into, you should have done better. Well, you knew, you should have known better, right? All those voices that start coming in. So take bite-sized chunks out of this big mission that you're on. You don't need to overload it. Who told you? Who told you needed to put so much on your plate? It's like going to the buffet and letting your eyes eat and not listening to your stomach, right? Check in with yourself. Ask yourself, how much can I reasonably take on? And this is a practice. I'm still guilty of overcommitting and taking more on than I reasonably can take on. It's a practice in learning how to calibrate my time, my energy, and manage my resources in that way. It's a skill that we have to learn how to develop. And in my experience, most guys, when they get really motivated and they want to make something happen, they overload the plate because everything sounds good in theory until you actually have to get cracking and do this stuff. And if you burn yourself out, if you squander all that flame and energy you had, you start going down this path of shame and feeling bad about yourself. And before you know it, time's passing and nothing's getting done. So, 2 pieces for every single one of us on this planet. Every single one of us is capable of becoming more self-aware and being more self-actuating. And what I shared here today, these are just simple steps, simple ways that you can make this a reality instead of continuously trying to wonder how you're going to bring it all together, how you're going to make it happen. So I hope you dig this video and everything else we're dropping here on the Rising Man channel. If you dig it and you want to hear more, then stay tuned, stay subscribed to this channel, share it up with somebody in your community who also needs to hear it. And make sure you tune in next week because we're going to keep dropping that fire each and every Monday. Much love, stay blessed. I'll see you on the next one.